welcome back. This is Wayne Madsen with the Wayne Madsen Report, the Sunday Roundup, and I'm joined tonight by Don DeBar, and we're talking about our visit to Tripoli, Libya in October of '09, and even being in Gaddafi's tent. And we're trying to wade through what probably there's a lot of propaganda. Wouldn't you agree, Don? I mean, one thing that I've found very intriguing is the old Libyan flag, the pre-Gaddafi flag. This goes back to King Idris. Right. Now I can understand maybe somebody had one in a cedar chest for 42 years. But it would probably be a little bit worn, but these are brand new. So where are they getting these? They're all over the place, and I do believe in what we saw in. Especially in Egypt, probably somewhat in Tunisia, that the U.S. is involved in some of these things through the National Endowment for Democracy, the Soros NGOs. But I think that where they may think that they're in control of these revolts, these are not Serbia, these are not Georgia, this isn't Ukraine, this isn't some of the other places where they've conducted these themed revolutions. I think they may have bitten off more than they can chew. What are your thoughts on that?
Could well be that. Just watching the coverage, first of all, the flags caught my attention also. Where did they come from was my, first thought. And also, when you were first watching the video that came from Benghazi and other places as video started to come out, I was struck by the fact I do video. I've been doing that for like 35 years. And, I was struck by the fact that you had an awful lot of shooting footage of what was supposedly massive rallies that showed like 15 or 20 people really close to the camera.
Right.
And not much else. And, you contrast that to Tahrir Square in Egypt, where you had a shot from above that showed like masses of people. And the other thing, I don't know how many people are familiar with the movie The Blair Witch Project. My wife and I, and it's essentially supposedly, it's a pseudo documentary. These people go out to shoot a movie, and it's supposed to be about this legendary witch, and they supposedly stumble on the actual witch, and people supposedly die and all this. Most of the movie is shots of the ground. I mean, in terms of the runtime, if it runs 90 minutes, maybe like 65, 70 minutes of it are shots of the ground, people's feet running, and stuff like that. And you never really see the witch.
Although we may have seen her more recently with Michelle Bachmann. No, it's true. These are very. I've noticed some of these, and you can go on YouTube and see it's a group called Save Libya that's putting some of these out, and they're very. Yeah, you're right. They're very tight shots. You don't see a lot of people. You see maybe 6 people in the back waving like a brand new, recently unfolded old Libyan flag. Right. I saw a video supposedly of a bombing, an aerial bombing of a rebel position or of a civilian position. I forget how it was characterized. But in this aerial bombing video, there was no airplane and no bomb. There was maybe a dozen people scattered within the view of the camera, and maybe 100, 200 feet away, a bonfire, a fire. They don't show any missile debris or anything. I mean, there's no evidence of the claim other than something on fire in the background that there, A, is an aerial bombing that took place, and B, that there's any people there other than maybe a dozen people that went out with the camera crew. Right. And there was an interesting report on Al Jazeera today that, we had reports of refugees streaming into Tunisia across the Libyan border. And today they're saying that it's very eerie because there's not many people coming out of Libya now.
I know. It's amazing. They said 150,000. They said 150,000 people like 4 or 5 days ago. And today I heard several thousand, unless they've all been absorbed somewhere.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, I think what we see is obviously Gaddafi's doing his propaganda thing, but I'm afraid that, with Hillary this past week talking about how the State Department has to compete with Russia Today and Al Jazeera, and she mentioned a Chinese news network. That what we're seeing play out here is an information war that we're probably not getting, except from tidbits from Al Jazeera here and there, and Russia Today. I don't think we're getting the full picture as to what's going on inside Libya.
I would say just Russia Today. I mean, Al Jazeera is based in Qatar, and Qatar is not in the same political situation that Libya is in, and Qatar is more in the political situation that, say, Saudi Arabia is in. Where they're, maybe it's not expressed because, you get your hands chopped off or whatever horrible things happen in Saudi Arabia, for example. But there is a huge dichotomy, a political contradiction between the people of those countries and the leadership. And there's also a huge, in most of them, economic contradiction as well. And although, you have, again, the great leader or whatever Gaddafi is, termed or perceived as in the country, his situation in relation to what goes on in Libya is quite different from that of the Qatar government. And so, except for today, I saw the first acknowledgement in Al Jazeera of there being some popular support in Libya for Gaddafi. And it's only because circumstances forced it.
Hold on, Don. We have another break, and we'll come right back after this short break. This is Wayne Madsen from Washington.